feel like I was wearing this shirt last time. Let me change shirts, bro. Can't let you motherfuckers know I wear this. No, I don't. I may not like those Manscaped products, but I do like their shirts. Not gonna lie. Yeah, so what do I want to talk about today? I feel like I'm very addicted to noise. And it bothers me because I feel like I can't function throughout the day without it. When I'm doing anything, I have to have something else going on. Like, maybe I'll play a YouTube video in the background and I'll just be like reading a manga. Or like I'm at the gym, then I got the music playing. Or maybe I'm watching a movie, then I'm all of a sudden scrolling on my phone. And I'm always having extra noise on me at all times. I listen to music and read something. And the reason why I became like more and more cognizant over this over time is it felt like I couldn't be in a quiet space without like feeling like I need to turn on noise. Don't get me wrong. It's not like silence makes me uneasy and I freak out, but it's just a habit that I've developed over time. And it's starting to mess with me a little bit because it feels like I can't focus on one thing at once without having that little fidget like, all right, let me do this, or let me press play, or let me, you know. Now, what does that mean? I think what I've kind of developed or have come to realize is that it's taken away from things I enjoy in ways that didn't really seem very evident at first. So rather than being like ultimately present, even through some of the more awkward parts, immediately, if anything felt uneasy, I had my safe with my phone or the music I was playing. You know, there's an Uber ride and I don't want to even be there without hearing this bus. I'm playing some music or whatever it is. Now, I'm not saying that noise is always bad. I don't think if you go to the gym, you're pumping iron, you know, the distractions and noise at the gym, you probably rather have the noise of your music. So I can understand certain circumstances where it makes sense if you want to focus in on an activity and this helps you do that. But I think a lot of the times, if we're honest with ourselves, the noise is unnecessary and probably bad. Maybe you'll play a video that you see on your feed and then you start doing something else. Well, what's the consequence? Maybe you don't get to really take in the message of the video. Maybe you miss what it's all about, but now it's already passed through your search history. You're like moving on to the next thing, all right? Or maybe you're having a conversation with somebody and you're browsing your phone while they're talking and you're missing the message, or you're making them feel like you're not really present, or you're having a phone conversation with somebody, right? And while they're talking or whatever, you're doing other shit. So you're not absorbing the information they're trying to give you, and so it makes the conversation seem disconjointed. And there's like just little things like that. You know, they say that when it comes to kids, when their guardians, the people around them are on their phones, kids notice it. I can't remember what study I remember reading up on, but it just essentially said that it had a negative impact on the children's development when the people that they were closest to had the habit of pulling out their phones or doing whatever it was. And I have to imagine that that probably replicates itself with adults. I personally know the difference when I'm with my friends and folks are on their phone and someone else is telling a story versus when everybody's engaged. It's different in the energy, it's different in the way that people respond, and it's different in the storyteller because they see everybody really into it. And I guess I'm making a bit more of an effort last couple of weeks to be a bit more present, to be a little bit more accepting of whatever noise life throws at me rather than trying to always be in control of that. And it's led to some pretty good things. I think in regards to my stand-up, it's been really useful in regards to my dancing. And also, I think this is the big one, okay? I got to hear that voice inside my head. You know, like the one that when you're doing self-reflection, what does that mean? You're talking to somebody, right? You're having some kind of back and forth dialogue. But when you have noise, that gets drowned out a lot. So I think a lot of my production of ideas and different things seemed to cease a lot. But because I got back to letting that noise come in, I felt as though that process began happening a lot more often. And for me, it was useful because I ended up writing a bunch of different ideas, coming up with new jokes, different things I want to do with the YouTube channel, how to improve the business itself, rather than just going through the motions of life and constantly having noise always pump me through with momentum. Now I get to be a little bit more patient, to breathe, be more attentive, be able to really absorb things. It was like a weird moment. I think I have this effect sometimes when I'm on psychedelics. You ever taken mushrooms or some shit like, and then you just sit somewhere that you've always been, but the place looks drastically different. And I don't think it actually looks literally different. It's just that because you're looking at the same space from a different perspective, it feels like you can appreciate it in a different way. because I was doing a lot of my same routine without as much noise now, I got to enjoy things a lot more. And it's just like the little things, like even music, like to literally just sit there with a song and just do nothing but listen to it rather than scroll on my phone or do other stuff. I got to like hear different chords, or even traveling to some parts of my neighborhood and just taking the chance to really look around. And the reason why it's important is because my job involves a lot of observation. My job, be it with stand-up or even YouTube stuff, involves paying attention. I felt like I was losing a little bit of that because I was constantly surrounded by noise. So yeah, I think for me, that's something that I've been addicted to for quite some time. And I say addicted because it almost feels like a compulsory response to constantly activate noise around me. So, yeah, I'm kind of glad I get to turn things off so I could really listen. So maybe you at home can kind of relate. I know folks all the time say that they listen to a podcast while they're reading a book or this and that. Maybe it's time to try to do just one at a time. I'm not saying we all have the luxury to always do that, but maybe making efforts to do that a little bit more often might yield results that could be positive for you. So I just want to talk about, I'm curious for you guys if you deal with this kind of noise in your life, if you feel the need, if you feel the self-loathing because you always hear it. Listen to me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below.